All right, we are now looking at target 3.8, and our mastery learning objective is I can write the equation of a circle. So the first thing we're going to look at is what the equation of a circle in what we call standard form. Standard form is also sometimes called center radius form, and you'll see why in a second. Okay. And so the center radius or standard form of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. We call it center radius form because what's here and here gives us our center. So our center is then at hk. One thing to notice is that the signs change. Right? It was minus, but it's positive. It's minus, but it's positive. Okay, so whatever it is, signs change. They are opposite of what they were. Okay? And then here is our radius. So I can write the equation of these circles. The center is at 1, -8, and the radius is 7. So we have our formula x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I just changed the signs already. X, it's positive 1, so minus 1 squared. Y, it was -8, so it's plus 8 squared. And then 7 squared is just 49. Looking at B, center at origin. The origin is 0, 0. So if we do the same thing, we have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared. Well, the square root of 10 squared, if I square that, the square root and the squared cancels out, so that's just 10. Nice and easy there. Another way to write this, which is more common, I don't usually say x minus 0. X minus 0 is just x. So that's x squared plus y squared equals 10. Okay. So if you see this x squared with nothing next to it, then you know that point is at 0, right? Same thing with the y. Part C, center at 4, -1, diameter of 8. Well, I need my center and my radius. So if my diameter is 8, then my radius is 4. So we're still using all these different ideas. So I have x minus h squared k squared equals r squared. So that's x minus 4 squared. Y, it was negative, so plus 1 squared. And 4 squared is 16. Looking at this, it gives us our center is 0, 4. And so then our radius here, if I just go one direction, I can count 1, 2, 3. And then same thing, x minus h squared so that's x minus 0 squared. I'm just going to automatically write it as just x squared. Y is positive 4, so change the signs, minus 4. And 3 squared is 9. So I get x squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 9. Okay. Example 2, we're now given a center and just a point. So with the center and the point, I need to find my radius. So the easiest way to kind of do that is to draw it. So our center is at -2, positive 4. And then there's some point on the circle that's over 6, up 7. So that's my radius. I'm going to swing it around. There's a circle. Beautiful. Okay. This distance is r. Okay. I can draw a triangle to help me out with this problem. If I go straight over and straight across, I can count the lines. I went 1, 2, 3, 4 over, and I went 1, 2, 3 up. Okay. Now I can use our lovely Pythagorean theorem to find that radius. Okay. So I have 4 squared plus 3 squared equals r squared. We've done this a lot. Now, I don't even have to take the square root. I'm going to take this right here and plug that right into my formula. If you find the square root, that's fine, but you'll just be taking the square root and then squaring it again, right? R squared is what I want, not really R. So then I have x, it's -2, so that's plus 2 squared. It's positive 4, so minus 4 squared. And then r squared is 25. Right. Again, r is 5. You could square it and say, hey, look, 25 there. Same thing here. Our center is at -3, -5. So that's the center of our circle, and there's some point at the origin. So if this is our radius, right, it swings around some circle like that. Again, I'm just going to draw a horizontal line, and then a vertical line. 1, 2, 3. It's 3 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 up. Then I can do our Pythagorean theorem. A squared, right? So I have 3 squared plus 5 squared equals r squared. 9 plus 25 equals r squared. And we get 34 equals r squared. Then same thing. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So the -3 changes to a +3. The -5 changes to a +5. And r squared is just 34. Easy enough. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page. The last thing we're going to look at is actually graphing. So from here, we want to find, right, in order to graph, we need our center and our radius. So now we're given our center radius equation, and we need to graph it on our circle. So if I'm given x squared plus y squared equals 49, then my center, right, what's with x and what's with y? Well, there's nothing with x and nothing with y. So my center is going to be at 0, 0. My radius, right, that 49 equals r squared. So then our radius, well, the square root of 49 is 7. Okay. So then to actually graph it, 0, 0 is just the center here. And the easiest way to graph a circle is the radius is the same, right? Every point around the circle is 7 away. So just go in your 4 regular directions. To the right, up, back to the center and to the left 7, back to the center and down 7. And then try to connect them with a nice, beautiful circle. Don't make straight lines, right? Try to make a circle. It doesn't always look great. That's not the most beautiful circle, but it's better than just like straight lines and making a diamond. All right, same thing with part B. Same thing here, right? Our center. What's with x, what's with y, but again, we have to change the signs. So it's -3 and +2. So that's 3 and -2. Then for our radius, right, this equals r squared. So that's the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay. So I'm going to put 3, -2. So over 3 down 2. Here's my 3, -2 point. And then I'm going to go 5 in every direction. 5 to the right. Start here, go 5 up. Start here, go 5 left. 5 down, okay? And again, connect them with a circle. That's a pretty nice one. Better than my last one. All right, same thing for these. I'm going to change D a little bit. So our center is, right, what's with x? Nothing's with x. What's with y? -1, so it becomes 0, 1. So I don't move left or right, I go up 1. There's my center. This equals r squared. So when I find my radius, I'm going to take the square root to find r. So the square root of 1 is just 1. So I'm going to start at my center. I'm going to go 1 to the right, 1 up, 1 that way, 1 that way. And we have a nice little baby circle. All right, our last problem, I'm going to change it just so we see an example of this. All right, let's make this like 20. Let's make it not a nice number. So our center is at -2, 1. 20 is r squared. So I'm going to take the square root. Well, I don't know what the square root of 20 is. So we're gonna, when we want to graph it, we're gonna approximate. So I take the square root of 20, I'm gonna call this 4.5. So when I graph this, I'll put my center at -2, 1. And now my radius is about 4.5. It's in between 4 and 5. So when I count, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and about halfway to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and about halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, and about halfway. 1, 2, halfway. Right? So if it's not exact, you can estimate and get that decimal to get a nice pretty circle still. Okay. All right, that is it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.